Hello, good morning. Welcome to Stamp and Chat. I've got somebody at my feet wanting to say hello as well. Let me just check that I'm live in the right place. Get down, good boy. Yeah, always good to start in the right place. I think I am. I'm hoping that Facebook won't throw me out today. That totally unsettled me last week just because I was trying to get back on as fast as I could and it just wasn't happening. So hopefully somebody will be joining me live. If you're popping on, please say hello. It's always lovely to know who is here. I'm going to give the glasses a little clean because it always helps to see what we're doing. Had a bit of a sore throat again of late. Kind of comes and goes. I think it's just that time of year, isn't it, when we're just sort of feeling a bit of colder air coming. So I'm going to be constantly clearing my throat, having a drink of water because that frog is there this morning. Okay, so I think I am going to turn us down. I can't see anybody hopping on yet. Just to explain what I'm using today, we have an early release collection of products coming to you as a customer on the 2nd of November, and it's called the Eden's Garden Collection. It's beautiful, and what will happen is the stamps and the dies will carry over to the mini catalogue that comes out in January, so the January to June mini catalogue. Which seems like a million miles away, but it will soon be here. And also there are some papers. I have shared them with you before, but I will give you another look at them. There are some beautiful DSP pattern papers. So DSP, if you're not sure when I refer to that, it stands for Designer Series Paper. And that's Stampin' Up's word for pattern paper, for those of you in the crafting world. So they are beautiful. They're a speciality pack, which means they've got gold foiling on. They are just stunning. So we have those papers. We have some cotton paper, which I've yet to do anything with, but I've got plans with it. And also we've got some embellishments, some lovely jewels as well. So morning, Tessa. How are you? It's a bit grey, bit damp out there this morning, isn't it? Here in the UK. But one thing to mention, that the papers and the embellishments and the cotton paper will not be carrying over into the mini catalogue. So once they go live on November the 2nd, they will be a product that will be available while supplies last only. So do bear that in mind. A few of you hopping on, I think let's get down to business and have a look at the products we'll be using. I've got a couple of things to talk to you about as well. Let's move everything out of the way, make a bit of space, and I was about to move my stand over then, but I need to turn you down before I do that, otherwise you're gonna all get a bit seasick. So what happens is, when the way my camera is positioned, when I turn you down, you're more over to the right side of my desk for some reason, and I'm really conscious about things toppling off the edges of the desk as, you know, the crafter math kind of gets going. Once I start inking things up, getting inks out, everything kind of moves over to the right, and have this vision of my tool caddy flying off the edge of the desk and crashing everywhere. So I'm trying to make a conscious effort to move everything to the left when I turn you down. Morning, Vicky. How are you doing? Are you managing to get out and about a little bit? So right, let's turn you down. Excuse the palm of the hand for just 1 second. Get everything straight. Flip you down. Have a little zoom and wait for catch up. Let's get this light on. Such a delay. I think we're straight. I'm going to tape it down and I can move my stand if not. So I've got a couple of things to talk about briefly. Vicky, you're getting back to the new normal. I'm glad to hear. It is a little strange, isn't it? I still don't feel like it's normal here, and it is worrying because Cases are growing, so still being extra cautious. There's no harm in doing that. But yeah, it is a bit strange. So talking about Eden's Garden, I will talk about my creative escape and stuff afterwards. So here is the Eden's Garden collection. We've got stamps, which I'll show you in person. And then we've got the beautiful dies as well. And then we've got some papers, the cotton paper, and the lovely garden gems as well. Good morning, Kim. How are you? How are you doing? So those are early at the moment. As a demonstrator, we can order them early. So if you were thinking of joining my team and you really liked this suite of or collection of products, you could actually add these to your starter kit, which is brilliant. And remember, the starter kit's £99, but you choose £130 of product. So, and it ships to you for free as well, it's an amazing deal. And it doesn't mean that you have to do Facebook Live like me every week. It's freedom of choice. You can do whatever you want to do. You can just simply earn yourself a permanent discount on all the orders that you place. Good morning, Mary. How are you? Thank you all for joining me. Okay, so alongside this, I decided to pop in, excuse the really awful visual here. It's pixelated really poorly. Not very good at doing things like this, creating flyers. It's not really my forte. Thank goodness Stampin' Up provide us with lovely, crisp, clear images. But yeah, I'm doing a class here in the studio on Saturday, 27th of November. Why do I feel like we're really on a crook? Thought I'd straightened everything out. Let me just... I probably turned that the wrong way. I'll wait for catch up. I think I have. Yeah, class. I'm digressing. Totally turned it the wrong way. Class on the 27th. I only have one space left for this because I'm keeping numbers smallish, just so that we've got, goodness gracious, I'm going totally the wrong way with getting the let's take the tape off, getting the grid paper straight. It's easier to do it like that. I confuse myself when I move my camera. So yeah, one space left for this class. My events website has been down for a little bit. I had some work done on it, had some updates to do on it, had to change host. So my lovely web designer has been working on it, and then she was poorly for a few days. So it was down for a little bit, but it's back up and running now. So hopefully later on I can get all of my November events up, get my Creative Escape up, which is this one here that I talked about last week. It's an all-day event at the hotel where I hold my retreat. So that will be coming later on. Let's move that out of the way. Quick flash at the papers before I show you the products. So these are the beautiful gems. I need to use them. I've not even cracked open this packet yet. So yeah, I need to use them. Morning, Ruth. How are you? What are you up to this morning? I have shown you these papers. They are divine. They are beautiful. I plan to do a lot with these next month. Look at the gold foiling. And I love the crisp white backgrounds on some of these as well. So a really lovely set. Of course, that's only 6 sheets. You get 12 in a pack. All double-sided. We're going to get a lot of use out of them. Somebody is right under my feet again. Bless him. So these are the dies. I'm going to be using this one today. I'm not using any of the others today, but a really good set of dies there. And the stamps are these here. You've seen me do quite a few things with this set, and I think it's just a really good all-rounder. I've really enjoyed using it. The other set I'm teaming it with is the Peaceful Deer, because I wanted to step into Christmas crafting a little more. And I absolutely adore this set. And the great thing about it is we have the matching punch. And I know you all love a punch bundle. So going to be using that. My colour combo pull them all together. Pretty, what's the word? Pretty neutral, I would say. I might throw in a bit of cherry cobbler because my cards are quite plain, but then that's me, that's the way I do it. And you have to take me with a pinch of salt, okay? If you want to recreate my projects, throw on them what you like, add all the bling that you want to, add the colour. You know, I'm here just to add a bit of inspiration, and I work best using colours that I feel comfortable with. So, and that's how my creative flow comes, because I'm enjoying using the colours that I'm using. Okay, other product I'm using are some of the labels from the seasonal label dies. I've used these such a lot. I had an online class last night with my 6 card class, so we were using those last night. The other 2 products I'm using is the Whisper White Craft Ink. This is very old. I would hate to say how old this is. I have 2, but this one's very old, and I've used it recently. So this is the old style ink, but I just keep re-inking it and it keeps going on. And then I'm also using my trusty blending brush. So I'm going to put those to one side. Kim, I love that. They're Kerry colours. Yeah, one of my lovely friends in Stampin' Up, who I met through Stampin' Up, she says she refers to things as very Kerry. So it's just the way we are, isn't it? Some people love the brights. For me, I just love all of these soft, muted, subtle colours. I've always been a subtle girl. Right, let's pull out the first kit. And also, I'm going to be using some of these as well. Has anybody got these? Let's try not to spill them everywhere. There are like thousands in here. It says there's 800, so that's a bit of a fib. It's not quite 1,000. But when you look in, it's like there are thousands in there. The subtle shimmer sequins. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to be using some of those. And as I've said, I might just pull in a bit of Christmas colour onto my projects as well. Right, I've pulled out my first kit, but I think I'm missing a sheet. So I'm just going to cut myself very quickly another layer, because for some reason I totally missed that. Right, so basic white, nothing new there. And I'm just going to fold that one down the middle. I think I've got you nice and close today. So if you're just hopping on, say hello. It's always lovely to know who is here. Had a little accident last night. I dipped the end of my bone folder into the real red ink, and it doesn't come off. And the bone is so porous, it looks like really grubby and horrible. But honestly, I clean it all the time. But that's adhesive. But where dirt and adhesive gets into the bone, it doesn't come out. So I was having this discussion last night. I'm slightly embarrassed because I like things to be clean and tidy, but it won't come any cleaner. And I don't think it's very sustainable to keep buying things just because they look a bit loved. So yeah, you'll have to excuse my bone folder. And I have several because I buy, when I was doing like events where people could come and craft with me, which is starting to happen again. I used to have, bone folders out for everybody to use. So I have more than one. Right, let us start. I need to do a bit of embossing. I'm just finding my folder. And you will be familiar with this one because I do use it a lot. The Time Worn type, and if you can see, it has like a script in there, but also it's got a real grungy feel to it. The only word I can make out is the word harvest. So if you've got this embossing folder, be aware when you're placing it down that you may be able to read some of the script. So you might want to check that you've got it the right way up. So what I'm going to do is take this front layer of basic white, and it measures 3 7/8. by 5.5 inches. I'm just locating my plate. I'm going to pop it in there straight. And I use this line along here to help me guide that my paper is in there straight. And then in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, we use the grey plate on the top. And I'll just run that through. Very quickly. Put my other plates back together, ready for cutting. And I just love how textured. And this one to me is quite subtle. It's quite a subtle background. There's nothing specific about it. It's just like grungy splat with a bit of script in there, but do love it. And it's great for festive and non-festive as well. That's another good thing, because so it's not specifically a Christmas, even though it's in the mini autumn winter mini catalogue, it's not specifically for Christmas, it's for any occasion. Okay, let's have a quick look at comments. You're working, Ruth. Watching while you work. Vicky, you love the deer bundle. Yeah, it is. What I love about it, so we have the 2 images that I'm going to use today that work alongside the punch, but then we've also got other images as well. And if you've been following me for a while, when this stamp set was released, I bought it and I created some non-Christmassy projects with it as well. So it's a really great set, but also I love the greetings. I love the style of the font on there. Right, let's get rolling. And then when we get into the flow, we can start chatting a little bit more. So next I'm going to take, let's do a bit of die cutting first. Just put that one to one side. And I want to cut this really large border from the soft succulent, and then from my seasonal label dies I want to cut myself one of those as well, and we'll probably be able to get those on one plate. Plates are still very bendy from my retreat. Tessa, you're watching while you work. Love you all multitasking. I do that a lot as well. I catch up with business chats and business Zooms while I'm working. I'm going to pop both of these on. Very bendy top plate, and hope that it doesn't move as I get it over to my cutting machine. Run that through. It's a big die to go over. And I might just run that back. So I ran it through and then ran it back again, just because this die here is quite intricate. Oh, look, this is what happens when you've got dirty plates. But it's fine, it just brushes off. It'll be totally fine. That bit there will rub off. That's just a bit of adhesive that's stuck on my plates. And the way you can get around that is when you are cutting. So when you're cutting with something white, if you put a piece of photocopy paper over the top, it will reduce the marking on the layer that you're cutting, if that makes sense. Does anybody else do that? Okay, so that's cut lovely and clean. Let's get rid of those pieces that are stuck in that awfully dirty plate. I need to break out the new one. I need to just do it. That I will put to one side because we can use that for something else. And if I drop it, it will probably just loosen it a bit. And we'll just pull it out. We've got a few pieces left in there, so we'll just push those out because I'm going to be using this on the next card as well. I always like to push out any pieces that are stuck in, ready for the next use. We've got a few bits in here. Let's just push those out. Oh, guys, I still haven't got that brush. It's terrible, isn't it? Always putting something else in my basket that I feel I need more. I know you're all rolling your eyes at me. Just buy the dye brush. Don't be so tight. I am quite tight. I often use the word tight, but I'm quite careful with money in one respect. I know some of you will relate to me. I'm not a big spender. I can be a big spender, but I tend to buy something nice, not very often, rather than I'm spending all the time. But when it comes down to Stampin' Up! Products, it's hard to resist, isn't it? I have so many nice things. Look how beautiful this is. Stunning, absolutely stunning. I love it. So many uses. You can chop into this and do all sorts of things with it. But for today, we're just going to keep it in its entirety because it's beautiful. Now what I want to do, I'm just like curling up the edges. So the outer edge, I'm just kind of, can you see how different? It just gives it a little lift. And then we're going to pop it straight down onto this embossed layer. In fact, I'm going to put it on here first and then I won't squash anything. Let's put this layer straight down onto my base. So this white layer is 3 7/8 by 5.5, and my base card, as almost always, is 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. Quick look at the comments. If you're hopping on, say hello. It's lovely to know who's here. And then we're just going to pop this one straight down on. And what I'm finding I'm doing, I'm not adding loads of adhesive. I'm literally going to add top and bottom and each side. And this will just be enough to anchor it. Don't have to stick the whole thing down. Can you see? Just top and bottom and sides. Just enough to hold it in there. Don't need to cover the whole thing with adhesive. I don't think you do anyway. But that's personal preference. Does it look a bit squiffy? That's better. Stuck to me now. And of course, the more glue you put on something like this, the more glue that will end up on your fingers. Okay, so we're going to pop that to one side now. We're going to work on this layer that I ran through the machine. Let's pull in some scrap. That's my clean sheet I treated myself to last night. So let's have this one. Bring in my trusty blending brush. Let's get these inks out ready. And I'm going to use the Pool Party. Now my brush looks quite dark blue. That's because I've used it with Misty Moonlight and other blues. But once you've used it with a colour, just give it a good kind of clean out, like a dry clean. That is ready to use in any other blue. I've never washed one of these, but I think, has anybody on here done that? You can wash them out, let them dry. So I'm just picking up some Pool Party. I'm going to take a bit off and then I'm just going to add some background colour onto this layer, just at the top part. And you'll probably see that better if I hold it against a piece of white. You'll see it just pops out a little bit. And from the Peaceful Deer, we've got 4 different sizes of tree stamps in here, which are brilliant. And these aren't shown at full full size. They're slightly smaller than the actual size of the stamp inside. But I've pulled out the tallest of the trees and then the little cluster, the next one down. I'm going to use my Evening Evergreen, which I will say I have just re-inked. Now, I don't know if that was the best move because re-inking sometimes can cause problems if you've got too much ink, but we will just see. But it was getting, my Evening Evergreen was beginning to look like Soft Succulent. Oh, that is very wet. And I can see some fluff on there. What I might do is just take a block and just pull back some ink from the centre and give that a wipe in a bit. Get off that bit of fluff. Clean this stamp off in my, oh, can't open my chamois with one hand. Give it a clean off. And just go again. I just think that was very juicy. Maybe shouldn't have re-inked right before going live. And I'm just going to pop this one straight down onto that layer. That is very dark, but that's good. Evergreen is dark. And then this one here, we're just going to pop a little bit off to the side over there like that. While I've got my mat out, let's put you to one side. Check the fingers for green ink. After last week, putting a huge splodge onto my card, but we made it work, didn't we? We made it work. And then I've pulled out this kind of dancing, prancing reindeer with the script written across. Let's see if it will fit on here. Yeah, quite easily. So I'm just going to ink it up with Sahara sand and stamp it down. That could probably do with a bit of a re-ink as well, but I don't mind that it's quite pale. And you can see it says, "Oh, what fun." So that's lovely. And then with our lovely punch, we can just pop that straight in. Might have to hold this closer to me to line it. When it's almost where you think it should be, give it a squeeze and it holds it tight, and then you can punch. Let's put that to one side. Tip out all of the pieces we don't need, and then we're left with this lovely, perfectly punched out deer. And the other thing I need is a greeting, and I love the greetings in the Eden's Garden, but there wasn't anything apart from the Let's Celebrate Everything. There's nothing in there that's specifically Christmassy because it's not a Christmas stamp set, but I do love all of the ones that are in here. I particularly love this one, Sending Love and Peace this season, but wanted to use just the Merry Christmas. Got a skinny strip of basic white. So what have we all been up to? How was your weekend? Was it relaxing? Was it busy? What did you get up to? I did a little work on Saturday morning, and on Saturday afternoon we hopped in the motorhome and took ourselves off for an overnight stay. I'm going to chop this in half, it's a bit long. We only local, we didn't travel very far, but a beautiful campsite. We tried to get in there before, was it in the summer? I think it might have been in the summer, and we couldn't get in because we just left it too late, because it was just like a last minute, oh, that was a bit crooked, a last minute trip out. We're very lastminute.com in this household, and it was fully booked. So we did manage to get a space this time. So it's a lovely, lovely little campsite. It's called Blackwell's Farm, and it's only about half an hour from here. But it's really well looked after. Obviously, we're quite self-contained. We don't need any facilities, but the facilities there were really good. It was just really well looked after. All the grounds were lovely, and there's like a little wooded area outside of the camping area that you can wander around with your dogs. And there's a pub just down the road, about a mile probably. We wandered down to the pub and had a little drink. So yeah, it was just a nice, relaxing, just a little getaway, just to get away for an overnight stay, just to do something different really. And I think it's good to do that. Mind you, campsites are quite expensive to stay in, aren't they? I don't think it's like a cheap holiday. Okay, so I've got my little Merry Christmas greeting. Couple more things I need to stamp. Just put that away, but so just a couple more things that I need. So let's pull this scrap back in. So yeah, we got back mid-morning on Sunday. So it was literally an overnight stop off. We had a lovely breakfast and then just headed our way back here. Caught up with my ironing because it was getting slightly out of hand. and then we did some gardening. So yeah, because Monday was the recycling bin for gardening, the garden waste. So had quite a few branches and things that had come down from the trees. So we needed to put that out. Right, I'm going to pull back in my evergreen ink. And then from the Eden's Garden, I've got two stamps that I'm using. Love this little one with the dots on. So I'm just going to ink up. Let's put you down there. And there are no dies that go with this set, unfortunately. As in, I'm grabbing them. There are these dies that go with this set, but no dies that cut out the lovely foliage, which would have been great, but it's not the end of the world. So I'm just going to trim those. Let's have a look at my other card. And I've already cut out, let me see, my little pot of goodness. I've cut one ready so that you don't have to painfully watch me do that. I know some of you like to see a bit of fussy cutting in action. So you'll get to see a bit. I'll put that one back in my pot for later. And I'll just trim these two out really quickly. So yeah, what did you get up to? I think Saturday, the weather was fair on Saturday, wasn't it? Sunday we woke up to a bit of drizzly rain. And then it perked up a bit later in the day. But that's to be expected now, you know, we're heading into autumn. Those lovely warm days, although I think it said it could be up to 17 degrees today, which is good. The poor heating system, it doesn't really know what it's doing. It's on, it's off, it's on this setting, and then we're changing it to this setting, and then it's too hot at night. Trying to get a happy medium is tricky. And I'm very much a cold person as well. I have to layer up. I really do find the cold. So I'm just trimming around this leafy image, which looks tricky, but it's actually not. I think when you're leaving a little white edge, it helps you to cut. I find it harder to cut close right up to an image. So I'm just like opening and closing my scissors to use the inner part of the scissors and then turning the paper at the same time as cutting. And you'll notice I very rarely get my scissors get this close together at the end. I'm using like the inner part mostly. Right, cutting done. You find it relaxing watching me fussy cut, Kim? Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? It's funny. I love doing it. Honestly, I can fussy cut for hours. I know some of you really don't enjoy it. And I know for some of you, it has grown on you a bit. It's something that you do find a little more relaxing now. Okay, let's get putting this card together. So we've got some nice edges that are popping up. Gonna add in our scenic label. Pop some mini dimensionals on here. Oh, I think I hear rain on the Velux. Maybe not. I'm just going to pop that one right down in the middle, just leaning over. That'll be okay, I think. That'll be okay, I think. And then I do the usual pull it out because I'm not quite happy with that. I think it's fine. This is a lot darker than my original, the green, which pleases me because it just makes it pop a little more. And then my little deer, just going to turn up the outer pieces. I can hear gravel. Maybe that's the postman outside the gate. And we're going to pop him down here. Just a little bit of Tombow in the middle, just that's going to, keep him in place. Or her. Like that. Still have garden dirt under my nails as well. It just stains. Obviously, I have scrubbed my hands and cleaned my nails, but it just stains the skin under. I'm just snipping up my greeting. You can definitely hear some activity outside the gates. I am waiting for a parcel. For some, I can hear him shouting now. He'll have to wait. My phone is on Do Not Disturb, so if he rings the intercom, it won't even come through. I'm hoping he'll just leave it in my safe place like most other delivery people do. It's obviously not my regular. I think it's, if you can hear activity, I think it's DHL. And I've got a couple of like regular drivers that just know it's safe to leave things for me. Right, let's put these two in. We shall see anyway. Just heard a little voice shouting, hello. So funny. Right, so I'm just popping a bit of Tombow and sharing it with that piece. Popping those up there, just as like to balance it out a little. And then my greetings, I am going to add dimensionals because I just want this to pop. So we are double layered now. We're at the height of 2 dimensionals, which isn't ideal for posting, but I don't really mind. Oh, I just dropped it on the floor. Oh, and I dropped it on the floor again. Do you ever have those dropsy days? Doesn't matter what you do, you drop everything. And we're just going to pop this greeting over here somewhere, just hanging over the edge. It's quite low, but I think it'll be all right. I don't want to hide my trees too much. Like that. Then thought we'd bring in, oh, little accident then, as I opened up the lid. A few flew out. So as I was showing you earlier, you've got some like pearlescent, iridescent ones in here, but you've also got silvery ones. They are beautiful, different sizes. I want you, so we'll keep you out. What I like to do is just pop a few in the lid and then you can see what you've got. I think we'll put them in a triangle. So we'll have one here, and one here. And I tend to always put the largest one at the bottom, on that side. One there. And one then. I'm just choosing like the pearly looking ones. This little pot of beautiful sequins will last you a very long time. Would make lovely shaker cards. There's one stuck in the lid. So that's my original card finished. Now, I'm okay with that. It is quite plain. I am okay with that. But then I thought, what about adding a little bit of Christmas colour? So I might do it to this one and see what we think. I am just locating some bits from my little goo pot. And I thought maybe die cut a couple of poinsettia. Maybe we could add a bit of Christmas red in there just to make it pop a bit, and then I'll bring my original one back in and you can tell me what you prefer. These poinsettia are from Merriest Moments, Merriest Frames. Okay, so you've got 3 sizes here. Lovely little add-on embellishments. Might move you up a little bit. Now, let's just go with a bit of gold. Let's pop one in and see what we think. You see me use these all of the time. If you've got bling, I was worried that the gold might not work with this, but I think it'll be okay. Let's have a look. I'm digging around in the bottom of my little goo pot. I wonder if I can get 3 on here. Might be overkill, but we shall see. Maybe sticking to me. I think 3 might be too many. A bit adventurous, yeah. Don't like that. Let's pull those off. Stick with 1. Waffling away to myself here, but I think it just really makes it pop. I love just this. And you will see here the difference where I've re-inked. But I just think adding a bit of red really makes it very Christmassy. What do you think? Let's put the lid on these for the moment. Put them to one side. I like this. I don't mind the red on it at all. I use a lot of red at Christmas, but I like the neutral look of this one as well. Now maybe if you had gold embellishments here, so let's have a look what's in my pot, just as an idea. The metallic pearls would be lovely. I could have popped those in the centres, couldn't I? Could have easily popped those on, but instead of the sequins on there, which I think are pretty, they're very subtle as they are named. Some gold, a bit of gold bling would have just lifted it a bit, but you like the red, Ruth. Yeah, I quite like the red as well. Just gives a pop. So yeah, I was pleased with that. I just, this is beautiful, absolutely beautiful, the die. And it's the first time I'd actually used it just as a whole. I've cut into it and made like a wreath on a card with it. So, right, that's first card done. How are we doing for time? 10:46. Look, I've got Woody on here. The grandchildren absolutely love. Evsy loves my watch. She's always touching my watch to see who is coming up. Right, card number 2. Got a lot of layers going on here. So what have we got? We've got a base card, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4. I think I might add some red on the other card as well. And then I've got a front layer. This one looks like it's 3 3/4 by 5 3/8. Yep. So 3 3/4 by 5 3/8, and that just gives you a bigger gap. On the last card, don't know if you can see there on the white, that was an 1/8 bigger. So you just get less border. And I think when you've got white on white, it doesn't need to be any smaller. So that one, we're just going to put that straight down now. So there's nothing happening on this layer. So that can go straight down onto our base. Nice even border all the way around. Of course, we are in half term, so I know some of you are away or you're busy entertaining your children. I was very lucky. I went over to see the grandchildren yesterday and stayed for a few hours. My sister came to visit us, which was lovely. It was so lovely to see her. She came to see Coles and the girls, and obviously new baby Teddy. So she got to have Teddy cuddles. And then we went off and had a little wander outside to get some fresh air and to wear the girls out a bit. Yeah, so lovely day. Always love spending time with them. So what I need to do is exactly the same as what I did last time. So let's pull in our plates. Wibbly wobbly. I really need to change this base plate. And I want this lovely one again. Just push out that bit that's stuck in there. And then I'm going to use the same label from the seasonal dies. Pop my clear plate over the top and just run that through quickly. Hoping that nothing moves. And I will run it through twice again, so just bear with me a moment as the bottom one moves before I've even turned the handle. Such a big die to get over. When you pop it in, a word of advice, because I'm cutting 2 things in one go, if I'd have put that in that way to cut, it would be easier to roll, but because I've put it this way, it's going through the roller and it's cutting the whole of this edge, which is a lot wider than this edge, so it's slightly harder to run it through that way. So if I'd have cut them separately, I definitely would have put it in that way. So we've got that piece there, which is a little bit marked again. There must be some adhesive on that plate. And then we'll just pull this one out, save that bit for later. Drop it a couple of times. And of course you can poke it out with your pokey tool on your take your pick. It's only a few pieces that get left in there. Always fine dropping it on a hard, see I just dropped it on a hard surface and virtually all of those pieces just came out. Rather a lot left in this time, but won't take me long to push them out. So who's got a favourite Christmas green? I'm not going to lie, I am very drawn to, as you know, soft succulent and evening evergreen. I think they're great Christmassy greens. We've got so many good Christmas greens though. Garden green is one I often use. I love Mossy Meadow when it's teamed with Cherry Cobbler. But I am loving this combination. So I'm just going to get rid of all those little pieces in my bin. Get my plates ready for next time. Beautiful. Right, any pieces stuck in. Little one there. Right, what I'm going to do this time, I'm going to fill in my white. I need to clean a stamp. In fact, yeah, let's give it a good clean. I want to use this stamp, but look, it's been in the evergreen and it's probably going to be difficult to get all of the colour out because I really don't want to transfer any of that green into my lovely white ink pad. Now it doesn't matter if that does happen because you literally just re-ink it and it will be fine. So you know when you have that little happy accident where you stamp the wrong colour into the ink pad, I tend to generally blot it out with a piece of tissue paper like kitchen paper, or don't use a wet wipe because you don't know what you're putting into your ink from your wet wipe. Because some wet wipes are very, very harsh, and I only buy like water wipes and biodegradable ones, but we still don't know if there's any hidden chemicals, and you don't want that chemical getting into your ink pad and reacting. So I always recommend blotting out any accidents, you know, where you've put a wrong colour into an ink pad and then just re-ink it and it will be fine, it will survive. But we will know in a minute when we pop this one in. Okay, I need a bit of scrap. Take this nice clean sheet. In fact, we don't need a clean one, but we will. With the white ink and then with this lovely image, just going to ink it up. It's a bit wetter in places. Obviously when I've re-inked it, I've not done it evenly, and I'm just going over the top of this die cut piece. My little tin is banging and wobbling. I've got that block that I squidged my ink around in is sitting in my little tin and it's wobbling around. So hopefully you can see I've just added like a bit of white. I can see a bit that I've missed. So that will take a minute to dry because it's craft. It's a pigment ink, it's not a standard ink. So I've just added like a bit of colour to that layer. And then I'm going to pop that to one side for the moment. And we'll work on here. I'm just smudging in those bits of white ink from the outside. So we're going to bring this back in and do exactly what we did before. Now I may well have enough ink on here just to give it a bit of colour. It goes a long way when you ink up a brush, and I think that's enough. And then my little trio of trees. We're just going to pop that over on the right hand side like that. Oh, it's very dark. probably looks almost black to you where you're looking from. Set that to one side and pull in now the other deer that works with the punch. We'll pull that scrap bit back in. Try and fit him on that way. So I'm just inking it up. Sorry, I'm rocking you around. With the Sahara sand. So it's just a lovely crisp outline. But in the stamp set, you've got, I always refer to this image as a pile of rocks. It's actually like the markings of the deer. So it's this one here. And I just pop them on his back. And then on the chest area. Just finishes them off. You could colour them in. I'm leaving mine totally blank today. And I'm going to have to snip that to get it in the punch. And I've just realised that was a silly way of punching. Because I'm going to waste a bit of paper, but not too much. Just where that antler's going to cut out there. So let's line it in. Can't see that very well, but I think that's okay. Punch it out. Tip away the waste pieces. And then we've got this lovely deer. Do love our punches. They work really well. And then behind this one, I am going to pop a couple of dimensionals ready. Okay, what do we need for stamping? I've got one that I did earlier. And then this is another. So in the Eden's Garden, we've got 4 lovely little foliage. Don't know if I've used that one yet, but 4 lovely foliage stamps along with the big, which I kind of refer to as like a background stamp. So I should just have enough room on here. Sorry, I'm reaching across to my ink. And we'll trim that one out. Use that for something else for sure. Get a small flower or something out of that piece. And then before I put my mat away, I need a greeting. I've got a little strip here and I've pulled out the Let's Celebrate Everything from the Eden's Garden because I think that can be Christmas. It will work both ways. Now I'm going to check. I cannot remember how straight this is mounted on here. And because it's a cling stamp, we cannot see directly through. So if I stamp it so it's on a line, it's very crooked. So by looking at the stamp, it looks like I'm stamping straight. But when I actually line it up to a line, it's very much in need of being twisted to the right. So we'll probably have to have a couple of goes at this. If I turn it to the right, hopefully it should be somewhere straight. Go a little bit higher. That's not too bad. We'll stick with that. Of course, remember you can, if you've got punches for greetings, or you can stamp something and then die cut it out. I mean, we have in this set, this die is lovely for doing with greetings. It probably would have worked on there. Yeah, so I can show you another thing with that. Let's pull in a scrap. So if we just stamped it down, if you were having troubles kind of lining it up, we could just stamp it down, take our die, grab some washi tape, line it up like that. I'll just run that through quickly. And I've not used the whole, you could use the whole of the label. Oh, it doesn't want to come off and I don't want to tear it. And then you can just snip off the ends that way. So different ways of creating. If you're having difficulty in, you know, getting something straight, then, you know, think about what dies you have or what punches that will help you out. Because you know what it's like when you start cutting into something, it gets even more crooked, and then your piece you're cutting ends up getting smaller and smaller, and then you have to redo it again. I'm finding sequins everywhere on my chair. Okay, what's the other thing that I need? A little strip of Pool Party. That's just to like break up the colour. But I think if we add a bit of red in here, then that will totally break it up as well. Let's just cut this one out. You're all very quiet. You're busy working. Oop. I missed then. So, got a busy week yet again of designing. So we're heading towards, can you believe we're heading towards the end of October? So got lots of planning to do for November. And as I mentioned earlier, I'll be popping up some new classes and events on my website. Now it's back up and running on my events website. So we'll have the 6 cards for November. And we have my Eden's Garden class. I'm hoping to throw in a stamper stack as well. So a lot to do. Plus we have, as demonstrators, we have our on stage at home event. So that would be our normal gathering event. If it wasn't COVID, we would be meeting in person. And I will say I do really miss those events. Always so great. But we're meeting virtually. So at least we are meeting. And I'm having a couple of team over as well to celebrate the event. So we'll be stamping together and using some new products, which I'm hoping will arrive today. I've had some UPS notifications, and a little word of warning. If you have ordered from me recently and you've been having a problem with an order that's getting stuck, please do get in touch with me. It's nothing to do with Stampin' Up. It is a UPS issue. So don't believe a parcel is coming unless it actually says on your tracking out for delivery, because they seem to be rescheduling parcels left, right and centre. So yeah, don't wait in for something if it's not saying it's out for delivery, because the chances are, speaking from experience, it's not coming and they will just reschedule it till the next day. Right, let's bring in, but enough of shipping problems. It's just been ongoing, hasn't it? I'm gonna bring in, can you see how that now pops out from my soft succulent layer behind? This will be dry now, so let's curl up the edges slightly. Pop some Tombow. Top, bottom and on the sides. Lay it down on. Give it a little press. It's actually drizzling here now, which isn't fun. I'm having my hair done later as well, which is exciting. It's always good to have the the roots refreshed. Feel a little brighter, although I keep contemplating about not having it done and just letting it grow out. But it's that process, isn't it, if you have regular highlights, letting it grow out. So we're going to pop this one again as we did before, bang in the middle, like that. A little mark on there. And then our little deer with his little Bambi legs. Pop him on next, and then we'll know where our greeting is going to go. Oh, do you know what I said about those dropsies? Yeah, if you drop it once, you drop it 10 times. So we'll just pop him down here. Now you could colour him in. I could have stamped him onto crumb cake cardstock or Sahara sand cardstock. That would have coloured him in for me. That would look equally as nice, but I just wanted to keep it plain. And I'm going to cut a little strip. So use one of these greetings. Which one is straighter? I think they're both okay. And just cut a little strip. And just layer those two together. Ruth, you're waiting for your In This Together stamp today. Oh, is it out for delivery? That would be good. That's a really sweet set. So I'm just going to lay that one straight on. I'm not adding any dimension to this one. And we'll just have it hovering up there. I think that's straight. It doesn't help because my grid paper is on a real wonk. It looks straight where you are, but it's not in line with my desk, which I like to have it normally, and then it helps. If you're hopping on, please say hello. I can see there's a couple of you joining. It's always good to know who's here. Oh, you've had your notification from UPS, Ruth. That is good. That is a bonus. Okay, and then we're going to pop in some foliage over in this corner, just to kind of balance where we've popped our deer. Have that one overlapping there. Twist it round a bit. And we'll bring in some more of these because they're so pretty. And again, we'll do a triangular placement. Pop a large one at the bottom, looking for a medium or a small. Come on, little fella. Didn't want to come off. And I should have tipped some in the lid, shouldn't I? It would have been easier to see. So that's how my original looks. So hopefully you can see the white. It's almost like adding a white splat by adding on. Hello, Sarah, how are you? It's half term, isn't it? So you've got a bit of time to yourself. Thanks for stopping by. Hope you're keeping well. Now, in my little pot, I've got 2 larges, but maybe we'll just pop one on. I don't know. I feel like one. We'll stick with one for now. Maybe I should have had a smaller one. It's just easier to put the glue there. You're not away this week, Sarah. Just making the most of having a bit of time at home. And then we'll pop on a bit of gold. Oop. To the centre. I think that's enough. Don't think I want to add. Could maybe get away with one there. What do we think? 1 poinsettia or 2? It's 2 and that's 1. Have a little drink. You're enjoying the rest. Thank you. Thank you for liking the cards, for those who are on the catch up, because obviously if you're catching up on this via my YouTube channel, you don't see any comments that are coming through. So you like it with 2, Tessa. I think it gives it a bit more balance up here. Let's pop it in, because I think you might be right. I think you might be right. Got another little gold dot. Quite like it with the red on, it's growing on me. So there's my original. I like them both. If you didn't see the red on it, you know, I would still really like that one. And I am planning on basing these cards. Let's do up some lids on inks. It does, Ruth, you're very true. It does make the card kind of come alive, doesn't it? Just gives it more of a Christmassy feel. And of course you could put add some holly leaves onto here with some little berries instead of the poinsettia. Where are the other 2? So yeah, I'm going to be basing, I think this one might be my favourite. I'm going to be basing these cards on a class coming next month, possibly in my Stamper Stack, because I've already got my Eden's Garden class scheduled in for the 27th of November, but I was thinking of doing an evening Stamper Stack for those of you that work during the day and who have really busy weekends, because I know what it's like. Life kind of takes over. So hopefully I'm planning to use both of these stamps together, something along the lines of these cards, because I think this is a good starting point. And I was really pleased with how they turned out. So I think this one with the red might just be my favourite, because it is crisp, but it's got a pop of colour. So yeah, excited to get this new class designed. So just checking comments. You're all liking the 2 poinsettia, yeah. Yeah, perfect. So thank you all for stopping by. I don't know if I've got anything else to share with you. Oh, one thing I must mention, something that's happening new today. We've got another new paper pumpkin kit. It's called the Hope Box, and this has been delayed due to shipping, I believe. So it's actually live now today on my website. The easiest way to get there is to go to my website at www.kerrytims.co.uk and then click shop with me, shop for Stampin' Up products. I can't remember what it says at the top exactly, but shop Stampin' Up, I think it does say. And that will take you to my website, and it will be a big pop-up box on there showing you, but it looks beautiful. I will be placing an order later this evening, so if there's anybody local watching who would like anything, if there's just like one thing you want that doesn't justify the $4.95 shipping, I can probably ship it to you cheaper, because it costs about £3.20 for up to 2 kilos. So, and that can include like 12 by 12 DSP as well. So yeah, just let me know. I'll be placing an order later, and I probably will be adding that paper pumpkin kit to my order because it looks so pretty, and there's a little story around it. It's called the Hope Box, and it's designed by Shelley Gardner herself, and she's had a lot of input into it. And the box is designed to be used as a keepsake box once you have created all the cards inside. It's got 9 cards, an exclusive stamp set, and it looks beautiful. So yeah, do head over and take a look at that. But remember that Eden's Garden, where are my flyers? This collection is not live until the 2nd of November. So, and with my class, I've got 1 space, possibly 2, but definitely 1. You can add on the stamps, the dies. You can add on just the papers if you wanted to and use my stamps. So, but we cannot order that until the 2nd of November. So yes, super exciting. So thank you so much for joining me. It's time for a coffee and a clear up, although it's looking quite tidy around me. Quite impressed with myself today. No finger smudges today, which is good. And Facebook didn't throw me out, so thanks so much for that. It could well just be the internet, nothing to do with Facebook. But I appreciate that I was able to stay here and not get disrupted. So thank you all for your lovely comments. Thank you, Ruth. You've enjoyed the cards, and Kim as well. I love it when you say lovely cards as always. That it just gives me a nice feeling that, you know, you do enjoy what I do. I absolutely enjoy what I do, and I come on here purely to share my love of creativity with you, and I am super thankful that you come on here and join me and chat with me. So, because it's like having you here in my room, even for those of you that are across the other side of the world, it's so nice to have you join me live. So anyway, waffle needs to stop there. I've got a lot to do and I definitely need a cup of coffee. So thank you again. Hope to see you very, very soon. And please take care, everybody, on your travels, and keep masking up. You know, it's going to help. It's got to help, hasn't it? So anyway, bye for now, and love to you all. Bye.